What's going on, everybody? So the big question on everyone's mind, is this Senate markup on the new crypto bill the moment we've been waiting for as XRP holders? Or is it just more of the same old government red tape? Welcome back to the channel. We're here to cut through the noise and give you the real story on the future of money. Today, we're digging into the big markup for the new market structure bill. It's all happening tomorrow, January 15th, 2026, in the Senate Banking Committee. We're going to break down what the Clarity Act is actually about, why it's a huge deal for the future of XRP, what changes are being proposed, and what it all means for the big vote tomorrow. Let's get right into it. Alright, so here's the backstory on this. The Clarity Act, or officially the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act of 2025, is a huge piece of legislation. It already passed the House back in July 2025 with a lot of support from both sides, 294 to 134. Now it's the Senate's turn. The Banking Committee is meeting for a markup tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern. A markup is basically where senators get together to debate the bill, suggest changes, and then vote to see if it moves on. It's a make or break step before it can get to the main Senate floor. And that's not all. The Senate Agriculture Committee has its own markup scheduled for January 27th to get their version of the bill in sync with the banking committees. Republican leaders like Tim Scott and John Boozman are really pushing to get everyone on board, but the Democrats are saying not so fast, they want a few more tweaks. The White House's own crypto expert, David Sachs, has hinted that the bill could get a final vote on the Senate floor by the end of January 2026. But hold on, it's not a done deal. There are 137 amendments on the table, covering everything from stablecoin yields to DeFi rules, so things could get heated. The main goal of the Clarity Act is to finally set some clear rules for crypto, figuring out what's a security for the SEC and what's a commodity for the CFTC. For XRP, this is a game changer. After the big SEC lawsuit win in 2025, XRP is already seen as a non-security. This bill would make that official for the whole market, locking it in as a commodity. It also sets up the rules for stablecoins, tokenized assets, and how the market works. This could be a massive boost for things like RLUSD and the XRP ledger's part in international payments and tokenizing real-world assets. Ripple's top brass are calling this a foundational moment for global finance. It would give banks the green light to jump into blockchain without worrying about the rules changing on them overnight. Just think about it. XRP could be the engine for trillions of dollars in super fast, efficient payments. That's the future we're looking at if this bill passes. So what's actually in this thing? Let's break it down. Alright, this bill is a monster. 278 pages from Senator Tim Scott. It gets into the nitty-gritty, like drawing a clear line between digital commodities and securities. It also proposes that the SEC and CFTC work together to oversee platforms that trade both, and it's making stablecoin issuers be more transparent. One of the big sticking points is about the rewards you can get on stablecoins. The bill wants to limit them, but some amendments are pushing to just require disclosure instead of an outright ban. You've got big players like Coinbase fighting these limits hard. They're saying it could completely wipe out the yields people are earning on assets like USDC or RLUSD. The bill also dives into DeFi. If a platform is holding your funds, they'll need to follow anti-money laundering rules. But for the true peer-to-peer stuff, the rules are a bit more relaxed. This is a huge deal for XRP. If it's treated as a commodity, the XRP ledger's decentralized exchange and AMM could really take off, without the heavy hand of the SEC getting in the way. And for RippleNet, this gives their 300-plus partners a much clearer runway to expand on-demand liquidity across the globe. But we've got to watch out for amendments from Democrats like Raphael Warnock. They're pushing for more consumer protection, which could either weaken the bill or break up the support from both parties. Now, the Senate Ag Committee is dropping their own version around January 21st. Theirs is expected to lean more into the commodities side of things, basically saying that assets like XRP are digital commodities as long as they're decentralized. The end goal here, if you listen to Senator Scott, is to put these bills together and make America the undisputed crypto capital of the world. Remember, the House already passed their version, so if the Senate can get its act together, merge these two bills, and pass a final vote, it could land on President Trump's desk to be signed as early as February. If that happens, it would be the most massive victory for the crypto world since the 2024 election. So what does all this mean for us, the XRP holders? If the Clarity Act passes, XRP gets official commodity status. No more SEC gray areas. That means a huge boost in confidence for the big institutional players. Ripple's RLUSD could really take off as a fully compliant stablecoin for payments and as collateral for real-world assets. And if the right amendments pass, the yields on those could be protected. This would also put XRP's main use case, cross-border payments, into overdrive. Think about banks like SBI and American Express being able to scale up their operations without any regulatory fear. And the market for tokenized real-world assets, which is projected to hit $30 trillion by 2030, would explode on the XRP ledger that would lock in XRP as the go-to bridge asset. We could be looking at a major supply shock. Exchange balances are already at a 7-year low. If big institutions start buying in, the price could go through the roof. But if the Democrats manage to add too many restrictions, the whole thing could grind to a halt, and XRP's big breakout moment would be delayed. So here's the reality. Everything hangs in the balance for tomorrow. This isn't a friendly chat. It's a political battleground with 137 amendments in play. The bill needs 60 votes to survive, and right now the two sides are miles apart on the big issues like DeFi and stablecoin yields. You've got the Republicans pushing to get this through and claim a win for democratizing finance, but the Democrats are digging in their heels, demanding tougher consumer protections. It's a classic standoff, and XRP is caught in the middle. The only way this bill sees the light of day is if they can find some common ground. If they can't, and this thing dies in committee, the dream of clarity gets put on ice, and we're back to square one. Then the Ag Committee will have their say on the 27th to iron out any differences. The White House is on board. David Sachs himself said this could make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. The stakes couldn't be higher. Passage means clear rules and an end to the lawsuits that have been holding back innovation. This is the moment the institutions have been waiting for. JP Morgan is already dipping its toes in, and Ripple's 300-plus partnerships put XRP in the perfect position to handle trillions. FLR's integration with XRP for yield and FXRP's taking would get regulatory green light. XRP could see super cycle demand. The world's smartest man's $1,000 call becomes plausible with $30 trillion real-world asset market by 2030. Failure to pass means status quo, uncertainty, SEC overreach, slower adoption. XRP stays suppressed, missing the institutional wave. Amendments on DeFi could force. XRP ledger changes if too strict. Watch tomorrow's markup closely, it's the first big test. If bipartisan, expect fast Senate vote. Ag Committee follows on the 27th. Trump could sign by February. Leading into tomorrow, the bill's fate hinges on amendments. 137 filed, some on stablecoin rewards, disclosure versus ban, DeFi compliance, yield restrictions. Coinbase lobbies for disclosure only, a win for RLUSD holders. Democrats want stronger anti-money laundering and consumer protections. Republicans aim for quick passage to democratize finance. For XRP, success means commodity clarity boosting RippleNet, ODL, RWA tokenization on XRP ledger. XLS 30 and 40 amendments live, ready for trillions. Supply at lows, escrow locks primed for shock. Tomorrow decides if crypto gets rules or remains in limbo. Watch for bipartisan votes that signals floor passage. If this update prepped you for tomorrow's vote, smash like, subscribe, turn on notifications. We're covering every development live. Thanks for watching. Stay curious. Stay holding. We explore the rails that lead to the future. See you in the next episode.